Hello and welcome to another episode of Carrots and Cookies. And besides Esutick and me, we're back to having our guest. And our guest this time is ClydePlays. Yay! Hello, Clyde.
Hey everybody. Good morning.
So as you guys know, me and Esutick, we stream for a long time, as you can see in the description. And we decided to make Carrots and Cookies to get experiences from other fellow content creators. Um, And now, as usual, I'm going to ask Esutick how she's doing today.
I'm doing fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. No complaints. It's weekend. I am not streaming weekends anymore, so super chill. I had enough time to prep this, kind of. And we got Clyde. So I'm going to be honest. Someone else was supposed to be on the show. I don't know if I want to disclose the name because they will show up at some point.
Second
Give it a
choice, I can
secret.
tell you.
But Esutick can confirm that Clyde was not second choice. He was on the list already. But it was last minute. It was last minute save from Clyde. So thank you so much, Clyde. How are you doing then?
I'm doing good. I just realized I said good morning to you guys, but it is clearly evening at your homes. But yeah, I'm doing really well. It's fun to be here. I haven't had the chance to be on a podcast like this yet, so here we go. First
Wait,
time.
this is
Oh,
your first
nice. We got a
podcast?
first.
Let's
Yes.
go.
Also, no worries. At the moment someone's watching this, it's probably
That's really bad.
morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's possible too, isn't it?
To explain that a little bit, Esu and me are in Europe, and Clyde is in America. As
Indeed.
and those.
They were just talking
Americans-
about NBA before this as well, and they completely lost me.
Yeah, you can make a conclusion based on his Seahawks hat. Clyde is well known about changing his hats very often. Well, not that often, but you have a lot of them. I know that.
I got a bunch of hats. It's funny if I'm ever streaming and I don't have a hat for some reason. There are times when I don't wear a hat and people are like, "Where's the hat? What's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
And like, I don't think of the hats as like part of my identity, but other people do, and so it's kind of a funny thing. So
I've seen this
my wife
happen
this morning.
on streams
Oh
as
god,
well.
yeah. I was coming in here. My wife's like, are you gonna wear a hat or are you gonna do your hair?" And I was like, "Oh no, I have to wear a hat. If I don't wear a hat, people freak out." Like,
Look,
so
we
I
would
guess
not
it's a
freak.
thing
Well,
now.
maybe I would. I'm really used to you having a hat.
I'm sure you'd be fine.
Have
I
you
think
ever
you could handle it.
have you ever thought about adding a hat to your main emote, which
I
we can see
have
here on the
one.
stream?
I do. So I think this side. Yeah, this side.
No,
Nope,
the other
this
side.
side.
No,
Very
the other
first
side,
one.
yeah.
I have a version where he's got like a trucker hat on, and I was using that for streaming. Gosh, what was it?
ETS?
Truck Simulator. What Euro Truck Simulator?
Yeah,
American
yeah,
Truck
yeah.
Simulator for just a couple of streams. But yeah, it didn't really stick. So I have it somewhere. Somewhere there's one, and he's just wearing a hat that says truck on it. I think is all it says.
Before we go further, you have very like specific emotes, and recently I became one of your emotes. I dig the
Oh.
color.
Yes.
Purple is my favorite, by the way. I don't know if you knew this or this was like
I had no
completely
idea. I
random.
just
There we
picked
go.
it. Yeah.
We can talk about that later. But do you make your own emotes, or is someone making them for you?
I do. I mean, all of my emotes and my art is pretty simple. I don't consider myself, a particularly amazing artist, but going for like that. I mean, it's just like an emoji, right? So it's very simple, very crisp, and stuff like that. So it makes it kind of easy to do art in that style. I will say, when I started to make the Cheg emote, I wasn't sure if it was going to come out, and it almost didn't happen. But like it worked so well, and partly, of course, because you have such a identifying characteristic with your beard, and so it was easy. I actually took a screenshot of you from the official World of Warships stream, and I traced your beard, and like put that on a smiley face and everything. And I was so, I mean, I don't want to say like, look at my great work, but I was so pleased at how it came out.
It was great,
that like it's actually still an emote on my channel right now.
I recognize it immediately. We'll talk about this later because it connects to something else that I want to touch on. But okay, I skipped a little bit, but before I explain how I know about you and how we got to meet each other, why don't you tell us a little bit about? So you were streaming, but I think you started doing YouTube before you started streaming, and one fed into the other, if I'm not wrong. But tell us a little bit about your channels and why streaming. How did you get to all that? And yeah, just a brief intro,
Yeah, sure. So I streaming for me was something that happened kind of on accident. Like it was a pandemic project, really. Like I've been playing World of Warships forever. Like started in 2015, and I had a really good game in the Daring, right? Which for people who play World of Warships, you'll be like, "Oh, Daring, I'm familiar with that ship." But for the rest of you, you won't care, and that's fine. But like I had a really good game. It was like 195,000 damage and everything. And my
Damn.
friend Skada, who you've met, said, "Hey, you should make that into a YouTube video." And I was like, okay, I made videos a bunch like in high school back when you filmed them with a camera and edited them on various VHS and 8mm, decks and stuff. And so I like video production. That was a thing I enjoyed to do. And so I made that into a video and I put some jokes in there. I'm pretty sure the video is still up on the channel. You can go watch my very first YouTube video ever is about daring. It's not that great.
Yeah,
but
but now that I know, I need to watch it. I'm curious
I was
about
about to say
that.
now I want to watch it because like, I don't know. I mean, before this I didn't know you. Cheg just gave me for this is our guest tonight. Here are his channels. So while I was having dinner, I was checking out your content, and I want to say what I saw so far in YouTube content, absolute high quality YouTube
Oh,
video. So
it's
now I'm
yes.
curious to where it started.
I don't think this is the same, right? Because you probably changed the way you do your stuff. Because now you're more of a like you go in depth with like numbers or even like your shorter versions of videos. If World of Warships gives us a new ship that you find interesting, I don't think you do it for every ship, but most of them you give like a brief explanation of it. Again, I'm interrupting. Just go for it.
No. That's what a conversation is.
Yeah.
And yeah, Esu's right. We just met today. Like we've never, so this is our first conversation ever,
Yes.
which is kind of a interesting thing to share with the world, for sure. My early videos, so that video, I did a thing where I called it play by play. And my thought was, and this is, I think, a thought that every World of Warships content creator has, and probably for other games as well, where I had a good game. Let's watch the game and we'll talk about what happened play by play and why it worked out or didn't work out or what were good things, what were bad things, and maybe people can learn from that.
Like commentary, kind of.
It's very much just like I would call it like produced commentary because it's not live, right? Like I would do it afterwards and I wouldn't really script it. I'd play like 2 minutes of it. I'd watch the video. I'd make some notes about things I wanted to say, and then as I played through it, I would just kind of like make it up and riff on it, and then I'd be like, "Nah, that sucked. Let's record that again." And I'd do it in like little 1 minute chunks, which is kind of not the best way to do that, but
you gotta start somewhere, though. That's
you do, and you learn all those lessons. So anyway, put that video together, and I enjoyed that. I liked making YouTube videos and stuff. Basically nobody watched them, but that was fine. You want to get better at making content before people watch your stuff rather than have to get better after people are watching. So there's a lot of value in making content that nobody watches, I think.
It's also about
sure.
developing your style. You really have a very distinct style. Like you can recognize Clyde's video 100%. So I think I guess that's a process as well.
That was important to me too. One of the reasons why I have like these kinds of emotes, yes, I pointed the right direction, and like my bright title cards and stuff is because every single World of Warships content creator does the same thing. They have a picture of a dark blue ocean with a ship on it, and they put white note letters on there that say, "Check out this boat." And I thought, there's like all of those look exactly the same, and so all of my stuff is like crazy rainbow colors and it's really bright and it's trying to grab your attention and be identifiable that way, which I don't know if that actually works for me or not. I think it does two things. It lets people know that there's a video they can skip, and it lets other people know there's a video I want to watch. And I figure that's probably fine. If people just don't like my stuff, then that's fine. But for those who do, it helps them find it, I hope.
So before we get to Twitch part, I'll tell you how much it works actually. I worked for Wargaming, and I was in big chunk of so Clyde is actually CC for World of Warships, which is a program where similar like Elder Scrolls Online that both of us talked about before, where Wargaming kind of puts a couple of creators under their wing by giving them like a little bit of promotion, some free stuff in the game, some free stuff to give to their viewership and help grow their channels and whatnot. And you have to get to a certain point to get in there, and it's getting more and more difficult because it's getting more and more saturated, the program itself. And when I joined Wargaming, the first thing I said it was World of Warships content creators on YouTube are the laziest bunch in the world. And I love them, but everyone is doing the same. What Clyde talked about, like you play the game saves a replay, you load up your replay, you talk over your replay, you upload to like no edit, nothing. You upload your replay, and that's the content. And working there, like having to watch this over and over again was very very tedious. And then there's few content creators. One works for World of Warships, actually World Legends, the Sally Robin, who actually sits down, even if it's a playthrough, he makes the animations and everything, you know, makes it look really good, gets scripted intro and whatnot. And then there's a couple other folks like Potato Quality, like Mount, like their content or not, agree or not, like they do things differently. Yeah. And this is where is a little bit of an anecdote. I don't know if you know this. When I joined Wargaming,
I don't know either.
The first thing when I got into the CC program, the head of CC program is actually Bogsy. We might be able to get him here as well at some point, because he used to stream and then he started working for Wargaming as well. And so there's EU part and NA part, right? So I was in charge for European content creators while he was head of the whole thing, but also in charge of NA, right? And the first message from me to Bogsy is, why is ClydePlays not part of the program? Like literally my first message there to him, which he completely ignored. Later on, I figured out he was in the meeting, didn't see it. Like Bogsy is a great guy. And then he replied,
yeah, Bogsy's good. He's a good egg.
Exactly. Yeah. He said, we have him under our radar. We're checking his content. He's the next one to join. I was like, okay, my mission is done. I really enjoyed your content. It does work, definitely.
From my perspective, because I watched it today for the first time, I don't play World of Warships. I've only seen Cheg play it, and to me, I don't even understand what the fuck is going on. Excuse me. I don't. Are we okay with that on our channel?
We definitely do. I don't care.
I don't know.
We can say shit on here.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Oh damn.
Fuck yeah, we can.
What really stood out for me is indeed the quality, because I watched the highlight reel, for example, and from my understanding, you really have been recording footage of the ships, and like you pick the right music. And what I think is really important in a video is when you watch it, you want to have that feeling that I got, like, I don't play this game, but I wanted to be part of this. And then I started watching the rest of your videos, which were your guides. And again, I see that same high quality footage of like you've like picked out more bigger pictures of ships and everything. It's not just like the what I see on Cheg's stream. Sorry, Cheg.
No, it's
the zoomed out ships going pew pew at each other. No, I see like real focus and attention to ships, to what is going on, to what you want to portray, to even people enjoying the fact that you put a bunch of park benches in your highlight. Like, I love that, and it makes me want to be part of it, even though I don't even play that game. It's not my type of game. So I think you really are doing something good here, and I actually thought you were, in my opinion, a little underappreciated. You deserve way more followers and views. So anyone who's watching this podcast, if you're not following Clyde yet,
definitely I agree with this.
Fix that.
But I think
even if you don't watch,
Clyde is.
I'll break in first of all. Let me say thank you. You guys have been being very nice to me for like 8 minutes. So thank you very much. It's very kind of you.
You deserve it, man.
I do appreciate that people recognize the effort that goes in, and I think it's most easily recognized by content creators. So you guys get it because you know what it costs to do that little bit extra. You know, Cheg just described I had a really good game. I upload it. I record myself talking over it. If I screw up when I'm talking, maybe I fix it, maybe I don't, and I upload it, and things go, right? And there's some content creators who can get away with that because they have amazing charisma, or because they're excellent at their game, or whatever. And then there are content creators who can't get away with it, but somehow do anyway. Good job, you guys. There's Cheg talked about. He named a few specific names. There's some really great content creators in the
By the
World
way,
of Warship
please
space.
don't worry. Like, you
For
can
sure.
mention any names. It like we are
As long as a
happy.
positive
yeah,
light,
yeah.
we're not gonna.
Oh, I am not going to rip on anybody because I know how hard it is, right? And so do you
Oh, no,
guys,
no.
right?
Well, you know
So
how I am. Like, there are certain content creators whose content I might not enjoy or the way they do it, but I still appreciate what they do. And like, I know it, I mean, it's not
yeah,
easy.
yeah.
And I'm
Yeah, you
one
can
of those,
respect the
like,
effort.
yeah, exactly. I do respect them. And I bet I can even say some names. Like, if, for example, one of the best, I think, like one of the best, if not the best cruiser player in World of Warships, Solitude. It's a very toxic, salty content, but the guy knows everything about the ships. And even though I get triggered by how he does things every now and again, if I met this guy, on a convention or something, dude, I'd be the first one to, hug him and whatnot. I feel like, we all have connection. Like, you can get triggered by someone's video or something, but that doesn't mean, like, unfortunately for a lot of people it does mean that they start hating a content creator and whatnot. But the reality is, it's another human being. Like, give them a chance. Just don't worry about the content, because content
There's
doesn't
still
mean
a person behind it.
exactly.
Yeah.
I've rated Solitude before. Soli, he's very different from my content, right? I'm like, hey, whatever, man, it's chill, and he's like, no, f all these guys and their crew, like what's going on here, right? Very, very different content. It speaks to very different audiences. I think both of which are well represented in our game and in other
100%.
games, obviously, as well. But yeah, the styles, it's this very broad spectrum of different approaches to how to deliver, hopefully, information and entertainment to people, right? You want to be able to do something that's useful. So
Yeah.
But no, there's just a ton of different flavors and styles out there. So again, thank you very much. You guys said nice things about me and my content. I appreciate that. It's very nice of you.
Not
Yeah,
a secret.
no.
I love
You
it.
did not have to.
It's just the truth. Like, yeah. And I think we're going onto a right path here. I can definitely tell in how you create your videos that you're utilizing your strengths to make your content real ClydePlays content and recognizable.
Making a brand, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, so to use the word branding is silly when you have like 2,300 followers on your YouTube. My brand is growing, Oh my gosh! Like,
It still
but at the same
is
time,
your brand.
it's
It's your stamp
a
that you
brand
put
and
on
it's
it. Yeah.
Honestly,
exactly right. Exactly right.
unless you were there at the beginning, 2,300 followers nowadays, like, World of Warships is a very niche thing. First of all, ships are like, we can see that with the other game that Board Gaming is making, which is World of Tanks, which is so much more popular than World of Ships, just because people don't have the same amount of connection with these different vehicles, right? Tank is basically a car with a gun on it. And you see these like all over the place, technically.
Don't bring up the wheeled tanks, man. People don't want to talk about the wheeled tanks. That's not a thing.
And then ships, like, most of the people live, landlocked. I mean, you live in Seattle, right? But I don't know about Esu. Are you by the coast? You're not, right?
I mean,
technically,
we're
your
a very
entire
tiny country.
by the coast.
So I will feel the sea wind, yes, even if I'm in the freaking all complete other end of the country.
Pardon my ignorance.
But we're from the Netherlands. We are a
Netherlands,
seafaring country. I
True,
mean, we are
big time.
Very
freaking the most popular
Yeah.
because of that.
Very
Popular,
much so.
the most known.
Especially historically.
Very much so.
But yeah, and then on top of that, it's a game about warships, and even though it's still very popular and healthy, it has, contrary to popular opinion, has very healthy player base. It's still very niche, and especially to grow nowadays, especially with YouTube algorithms and everything. On Twitch, I feel like you can, because there's always a chance of someone bigger knowing you and rating or official channel rating and stuff like that, and then people can see your qualities and decide if they enjoy your content or not. On YouTube, man, if you type World of Warships in YouTube, you're going to get potato quality Mountbatten and jingles, and and that's basically it. And this is because their channels have been, I mean, not to take away from their content creation, obviously, but they started, and Flamu, sorry, but they started doing this, 7 years ago when it all just started, and they, they rode that wave at the beginning. So now it's so much more difficult to get on that wave than before. So I think you're doing good. Hopefully it's gonna go up.
That's definitely been my experience, is that it is hard to break through, right? I've got spreadsheets and graphs about so being a CC now, you have the opportunity to have basically a couple of days of exclusive time with new ships, right? So we get to put out videos when the NDA breaks before the ships come out, which means that our videos basically get a couple of days where we get all the eyeballs, right?
Yep.
And I've compared the growth of my videos against the growth of those channels, right? So it'd be not so much Flamu and Jingles anymore because they're not CCs, but they do have enormous channels. But people like Maltese Knight and people like there's a German guy whose name I can't remember,
Panzer?
who's huge. I'm sorry?
Panzernacker or something like that.
Yeah, Panzernacker. I feel like there's another German dude too, but there's some folks that are big. They're not English language, but that's fine. And then there's some English language streamers. I should think of more than just Maltese Knight, but
I mean,
the
I
people
can
who make
give you
YouTube
more of them,
content.
but it doesn't really matter. It's not. There's a lot of
but
like you're new to the program as well, and new to content creation.
Yeah,
new, like what, a couple of years, right?
Couple of years. Yeah,
we're talking about these titans that have been there for 6-7 years.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And so breaking through that, Malta, bless his heart, that dude will get like 20 and Potato Quality too. We'll just use those two guys as an example. Speaking of English language content creators, huge, who are in the CC program. And those guys will get 20 or 30,000 views in the first couple of days, right, on their videos. And when we talk about the scope of YouTube, that's not big, but as you talked about the niche community that is World of Warships, that's pretty chunky. And then if I'm getting in the first week, 1,000 or 1,200 views, that's pretty reliable. That's pretty normal. A really good video for me will get 3,000 or 4,000 views in a week. Maybe, well, let's say 2,000 or 3,000. Let's be realistic, right? But you're talking about breaking through and getting in there to where you've got those eyeballs and you've got that attention. Because when you put search, I'm not the top return on that. But at the same time, the only reason my Twitch channel has done anything is because of my YouTube channel. So I had one video that kind of
I was about a good segue. I was about to ask.
Yeah. And so I had one video that popped off about a year and a half ago, probably, and it was a video about how to optimize leveling your commanders. The commander grind in World, I won't go into the details because I could, and I'm going to try not to. But the commander grind in World of Warships is one of the longest grinds in the whole game. If you want to take a level all the way up to top level on your commander, it's like 3 or 4 times as long as the longest ship grind, right? So it's huge, and it takes a ton of effort, and the tools that are in the game are just not very good for doing it. They're not trying to help, and that's not that they're trying to hurt. There's just not a lot of great ways to be like, let's make sure I always do everything perfectly to level this guy as fast as possible. So I made a guide about how to do that and everything, and the algorithm just loved it. They gobbled it up and they fed it to everybody, and everybody watched it. And for me, a year and a half later, I think the video has like 20,000 views now, which for me is amazing. It's like my greatest video of all time, which again is not something to write home and tell your family about. But that video,
just one moment there,
tons of people to Twitch. No, go ahead.
So this video is everything that YouTube doesn't want you to do. It's like an hour long, right? It's like an hour long or more.
That one's only 22 minutes or 23 minutes.
Still longer than what YouTube video should be, right?
I think people think that YouTube videos are like 12 or 13 minutes is like the sweet spot.
This changes, right? But I think something like that, right? You had another one with the spreadsheet about comment. Oh, but you're talking about the one that brought a lot of people. I see what you're doing.
The first one, was that one, and that was about 22 minutes long, and it just got watched a lot because nobody makes content about that, because all the CCs have benefits that mean that they don't worry about the problem of leveling commanders, right?
By the way, this happened before you became a CC, just to put it on the timeline.
Right. Yeah. And this is like a problem that I'd been trying to solve for years, like forever, because I've played World of Warships forever. So I figured out my method, my approach. Is it the only way to do this? No. But I put together this thing, sent it out there. People saw it, and then people just started showing up on my Twitch stream. I didn't actually want to Twitch stream because because of what Essie was saying earlier, right? Every time I go to Twitch, I see a little boat that's going pew pew, and somebody goes, "Oh, I got shot" or whatever. And it all looks the same, and it's kind of like it's a different kind of content that I didn't understand. Oh, hang on.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Do you
So
remember
I'll say
where were you?
where was I? Yeah, I feel like I'm monologuing too much, but let's
No,
keep
you're
going.
doing good. You're doing good. Like this.
So I'll rewind a little bit and say, like, I had a friend who wanted to do Twitch kind of at the same time because he saw me doing YouTube and he thought, oh, that's really cool. I'm going to do Twitch, man. He's like, Twitch is where all the cool kids hang out. And I was like, Twitch seems kind of lame. I'm not really into that. I'm going to do YouTube. It's kind of more my thing. Because I like the idea of the produced content, like that product that you make for YouTube is polished and beautiful and pretty and it can be perfect, right? Whereas Twitch, I didn't understand because I was an old man and I didn't know what emoting was, and channel points didn't make any sense, and subscriptions were something for children. Like I didn't know anything
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Twitch. So he started Twitch streaming, so I'd show up on his Twitch stream to kind of support him. And over time,
wait,
that just didn't
was
work.
this Skada or someone else?
No, actually I think he still has a channel. I think he streams sporadically. His name's Heavy McD, so twitch.tv/Heavy McD. You can check him out. He was doing Magic the Gathering most recently.
Oh,
That's
wow.
his
Okay.
game. And he's done a few other games, but I think he's kind of off and on, right?
Okay, fair.
In terms of his schedule. So, but yeah, so Heavy was trying to get this stuff sorted out, and he's like, "You should do this," and I was like, "Yeah, I don't know." And I don't even remember my first Twitch stream or why I did it. I've tried to remember, and I don't remember it. But I was just like, apparently, I just turned on Twitch one day, and I used so a really basic stream setup and everything, and just played some ships or whatever. But as I was doing that, I would find that people would come over from YouTube and say, "Hey, man, I watched the one video you made that anyone has seen. It was cool to catch you live," and like that would start to happen. And I think really that's been the thing. We talk a lot about searchability and everything, and that's something you can do that YouTube offers way better than Twitch does. But Twitch is way easier, right? Like if you're talking about hours of effort for dollars, have you guys found that? I don't know if you guys have done YouTube, I guess, actively or historically, but like, have you guys?
Not in a way of making money.
Not monetized,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
And making money is not my goal for any of this, but it's just an interesting way to keep score, right? So
Yeah.
the number of hours you invest to make $1, which is not very much money on YouTube, is way more than the number of hours you invest to make $1 on Twitch. But at the same time, Twitch wouldn't be, for at least for me, where it is if it wasn't for those hours invested in YouTube. And so that's kind of been the way that kind of came together for me.
It is two of us are both like originally Twitch streamers, and a lot of Twitch streamers are struggling with discoverability and now reaching out to other platforms. Like at first it was only YouTube, but now it's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, of course. Now YouTube Shorts as well, which we both of us recently started playing with. Are you making any YouTube Shorts?
I think I have like 2 shorts up there. I have one where it was just somebody asked me a question and I was like, I'm not going to make you a whole video for this, but I'll make you a short.
Nice.
And it was about research bureau resets or something. So I explained really quickly how to do a research bureau reset thing. And I think it's an area I should play with more, but I haven't figured out how to do it. I like to have like a whole format and stuff. And
these are silly. They can explode. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
that's something I'd like to explore with more. What are you guys doing with your shorts?
So I upload shorts of like clips from my stream, and for me it was the other way around. So I started just like Cheg on Twitch, and I understood Twitch, and I had the immediate interaction and the chat and the conversations going on, and I started building my content on that. And on YouTube, I have to produce content on my own, talk to myself, have no immediate interaction. And so I have to come up with something that is going to want to keep the viewer watching. And for the longest time, I was like, I don't want to do that because I love the immediate interaction. I just want to chat with people and play my games. Leave me alone. I don't want to make content. But I started doing and
I
playing
mean,
around with
yes.
it a little bit more because I was like, it is good to kind of branch out, right? And so I started making YouTube videos, but I also started uploading shorts. And what I basically do is I just grab the clips that are watched the most on my Twitch channel, and I throw them through a tool that makes them vertical, where I can add some captions, I can add some funny effects, and then I upload them to YouTube. And the funny thing is that YouTube eats this up. It loves it. The algorithm loves it, and most of my followers or my subscribers on YouTube are actually from shorts and not from my
Mm.
videos. So that's how I started
That's
doing it.
awesome.
Yeah, and what I have the same thing. Like I see people coming back from my YouTube to my Twitch channel because they're like they've seen snippets on a platform that I didn't reach before, and they're like, "Hey, I like this content creator. I want to watch this live sometime."
Yeah, exactly.
It's very interesting. You got to check it because there are some YouTube shorts from content creators I've never seen before, Clyde, in World of Warships that have like 150,000 views. It's actually
it's
crazy.
insane.
It's actually
It's insane.
because it's all mobile views, you know, like it's easy to, very accessible and easy to. And then what you can do also, if you should you want to do it, it's the same format as TikTok. So you can just put it on 2 platforms.
Instagram Reels.
There you
3
go.
platforms.
3 platforms. And it's
Yeah.
not
I
that
have like
high
2
of an effort.
TikToks as well.
There you go. And for me personally, I'm not really like, I just tried doing it once, but I actually now have a person who does it for me. She used to watch my streams when I was mostly playing GeoGuessr. That used to be my thing. I mean, it still is, but because of the situation I'm in right now, it would be ridiculous not to stream World of Warships. But yeah, she had a bit of time living in the Philippines. Has good enough rig for it. The only problem is that we have to communicate quite a lot for her to understand what the hell is going on in the game, you know?
Because if you don't know World of Warships,
exactly.
I don't know what the heck is going on. By the way, I think I watched one of your videos where you literally said like, if this is not what you want to do, it's getting very complicated. And I've just been kept watching it while eating it, like, because you explained it so chilled and relaxed and like very well articulated. I'm just eating it up literally, even though I have no clue what you're talking about.
This is something that Clyde and me have in common. Actually, I think you will agree. Where most of the streamers, on even the experienced ones streaming World of Warships, are very stressed about playing the game and how good they perform in the game. Where for me, and I said it multiple times on the stream, I love my stream derailing my gameplay. So there will be moments where I will just talk about something for an hour and a half. And I think that's more engaging. And, you know, you can go and watch anyone play the game, because 90% of Twitch streamers will just play the game and talk over it, probably skip a couple of messages in the chat and whatnot. I will stop playing the game and, you know, talk about something that people want to talk about at that moment. No problem. Clyde does the same. Like I've been there. Like it doesn't maybe happen as often as with me, because I just can't help myself, right? But you will stop. Okay, so this can segue into the next thing. What I really envy about you is how you made your Twitch production, live production, into creating YouTube, like ready to go YouTube videos. With your little setup, you have a little transition. It's Clyde News now, and you know, you talk about the newest pet, or Skada hops on. We need to talk about Skada a little bit of it as well.
He should come up. He's a big part of this.
Skada is amazing.
Very interesting, especially because you mentioned, you know, even though it isn't about earning, Twitch gives the better buck per hour versus, so you combined the two.
He's doing great.
Yes. So Asu, you talked about how you're like, I went over to do a YouTube video and it sucked. It was a lot of work. Right? And it is. I mean, if you're doing a bespoke YouTube video, you got to talk to yourself. You have to have a plan. You got to know when you're going to start, when you're going to middle, and when you're going to end, and all of that stuff. This thing that we're doing right now is very similar in style and flavor to what Cheg's talking about that I do on my channel, and I think it's one of the best ways that a content creator can like level up the return they get on the work they do. And again, I'm not paying my house payment with this or anything. You know, I'm not putting gas in my car with Twitch. Twitch is an extremely big waste of time for me if I'm trying to get paid for it. You are? I'm so proud of you, Cheg. I'm so proud of you.
You used to do it before wargaming and now I'm doing it again.
Yeah. So and that's actually something else that we should address real briefly is that we talk about, you know, Cheg said all of the content creators for World of Warships are the laziest people in the world because they don't put in the extra work. On the one hand, I agree because I love the production quality and I love going a little too far and everything. But the return on investment you get is literally not worth it.
Heartbreaking, right? Even because I used to do videos for Star Citizen, and man, I would invest like 10 hours into creating a really good video about one ship, and it's like 200 views. The next day, I just like make a video about another ship where I just roll around it on a joystick so it's smooth, and I say like 10 words about it, and it has like 1,000 views. I'm like, no,
it doesn't make any sense, right?
Please, no, I cannot do this anymore.
And so like when you lean in on the higher quality stuff, how can you get extra value out of it? And one of the ways that I've learned to do that, and this is not unique, I have not cracked a code on this, there are many people who do this, we're doing it right now, right? You guys got a nice setup here, we're having a good conversation, and this is going to roll with minimal editing into a YouTube thing, right?
Exactly.
That's my expectation.
So
I discovered that I like making the kind of content like this discussion we're doing right now, and people seem to like it, and it has high value. But if you're gonna do this, you got to put a little bit into it, right? And so what I've done is the first thing I designed was the ClydePlays news thing, which basically is a background with a little fake rolling ticker at the bottom, and it's me talking in the corner, and I just read the internet to people. It's not a complicated formula, but I put a little bit of work into it one time, and now I can use that work over and over and over and over again to make lots and lots of videos. I think there's like 30 or so news videos that are on my channel right now. Some of them have like 5,000 views, and I did.
I don't skip this. Like,
yeah. You watched them?
All of them.
Did you watch them when you worked at Wargaming?
Yes, in the office. And I would usually actually post something. Scott is the first one to reply, and you do as well sometimes.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
That's amazing. First of all, thank you for watching my content.
I enjoyed it. You were making it.
But like the news thing, a lot of people do it, right? Lots of streamers will pull up the dev blog and they'll read it and they'll react to it, right?
Yeah.
So-and-so reacts or whatever. They do it on the official stream. And the official stream doesn't, if I can be a little like fancy about myself, I think I have probably the most involved news setup of anybody that I've seen. I haven't seen everybody, but and then I would say the official stream is the second best one, and then after that everybody else just puts a browser up behind them or in front of them. They don't even have themselves on the camera. And then they just read through the news and react. And so like I did some work one time a year and a half ago, and now I do this all the time. And sort of what you were just talking about, Cheg, that video is easy to make. I make it live in real time. I do a little bit of editing. I do more editing than I should, where when I mention a ship, we'll put that picture up there so people can see it big. I'll edit that, or I'll make some text a little larger, easier to read, and I'll put that in there in a title or something over the newspaper articles or the blog article so people can see that. So I do some light editing to it.
Your thumbnails are basically good as well. Very catchy.
Well, thank you. But like those things go out there really, really cheap. That video is really cheap to make, and they tend to get views. Some of my best videos, 5,000 views or 3,000 views, will be those news videos that didn't cost me anything to make. And so like that's definitely something where if you can invest some effort in making your setup and your live production good enough, you're saving yourself tons of time on the back end if that's also going to become a YouTube video.
You do also a long form one. I'm a sucker for it. I love it. Like I when I find a video that I can stay on for like 2 hours, I'm the happiest gamer alive, because you know I'm gonna play my warships mindlessly or some other game, and I will have you and Skada talk about, you know, I don't know, like steel ships or whatever for hours.
Yeah.
And how are these doing now? Because they're very, very long. Like
They're
deep
very,
dive
very
ones.
long. They do okay. They do pretty well, and I think part of why they do well is we put them out at the right time of the year, right? We put them out when coupons are coming back, and you know, so World of Warships has a cycle where you can get a discount with free in-game resources on certain types of ships, and so at the right time, you know, we try to get those out ahead of that coupon so that that content lands on YouTube when it's relevant to people.
A
But
bit of
even
research
after that,
helps a
yeah,
lot
even
too.
after that though, people watch them all year round. In fact, I'm kind of annoyed right now because the the coal ship video from November 2022 is still actively outperforming the coal ship video from 2 months ago,
Huh.
because people find that one because the algorithm's serving it up
Yep.
because so many people are watching it. And like that video has like, I'm gonna be wrong, but I think it has like 10,000 views or whatever,
No.
which is pretty great, which is better than normal for me by a long shot. But those ones do well. I think I go through, I bookmark all of them so that people can find the section they want. And YouTube people are tempted to try to trick people into watching the whole video all the time. And I think that's good for you and for the algorithm and everything, but it's not as good for your viewers. Like if you've got a 4-hour video, just help them do the thing they want the most, because then they'll come back,
Yep.
right? You just got to make their life better, I think, anyway. But those videos tend to do pretty well. We're going to do another one here pretty soon about all the dockyard ships.
Yeah, I can't wait for that
I've
one
done
either.
some research on that. It's going to be cool. I'm excited about that one.
I cheated,
But yeah, those
and I
ones
got all
do
of them
good.
now because I didn't have them, because I used to work on the ship, so I would be away for like 8 months. So I've skipped some of the dockyards, and I like the concept. But then working for Wargaming, I managed to get all these ships.
You scoundrel.
Cheater. but I'm very,
that is a
very curious.
So those
about
ships
that.
are like not available to anybody ever after they came out, except for last Christmas season.
Yeah, true.
They put a couple in Santa boxes, which is the first time that's ever happened.
They're not even
So that's
that
cool
good,
that you were able to do that.
But I love having them. They're just like, I don't know. You feel like you built it. I actually suggested for Wargaming to make a mini dockyard that is always there for new player. So they start building a tier 6 instead of giving like maybe the same that you get for a feral, because
sort of like
it's like 3% people. Kind of, yeah. But like just have a dockyard there and let people, because I was coming back to finish the motherfucking ship, because it's so nice. I have to show you sometimes. Like you actually see a dockyard, an empty dockyard, and then as you're doing missions, just by playing the game, you know, the ship is being built, and you see every phase of the ship being like laid down and everything, and it takes like, I don't know, like 2 months roughly to finish the ship.
Yeah.
And then you get it.
Yeah.
Like it, and you can play. Like these are usually historical ships or you know, not so historical. Depends on, actually, I don't know if any of them are. Puerto Rico is, right?
Puerto Rico's real.
Yeah. But still,
I don't know
like,
if any of the other ones are.
They're very
Lucian,
like
I
high
think
end.
Lucian is based on a real ship, which is the new one that's coming out. But like what?
I'm sorry.
What Cheg's,
go on.
No, we've been talking too much. You should take the mic, please.
Well, I'm curious because I know Cheg's playing like warships 5 times a week, right? And he's worked for warships over a year. He's lived warships and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know you as a content creator that solely focus on warships. How many hours a day are you thinking about World of Warship? Are you busy with everything going on for your videos, for your stream, for the game, for the passion?
Can I answer part of this?
Yes.
Clyde has family and works, which is mind-blowing to me. Now, at work, they probably talk about ships every now and again because Skada joins the chat.
With a couple of folks who play. Yeah.
Go for it though. I just like Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. Well done. I think it's probably more than it should. It's probably embarrassingly more than it should be, right? But um, I pr- I probably think about ships like multiple times per hour. All day. And that's because there's discords and things that I'm active in. I run my own discord. Cheg talks about how I answer YouTube comments. I try to get in and answer not every YouTube comment, but a lot of them. If somebody's, going really far off the one side about conspiracy theories and how, things are really crazy, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna let you tire yourself out. I might not answer that comment, but I try to go and answer most comments. And then some folks have really great comments that are like super long, and it's hard to answer a long comment because they have a lot of ideas that need addressed, right? And so sometimes I read those and I'm like, oh geez, I gotta answer that, and I don't. But so it's YouTube comments, it's discords and stuff like that. It's scheming about what to do next and stuff. So yeah, I spend a lot of time thinking about the game. I only stream 3 times a week. And I am looking at shifting a little bit of the focus of my Tuesday night stream, which would be a Wednesday morning stream for you guys. For to introduce some other games. I did Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order recently, not the new one, but the one that came out before, on that stream, and that was really fun. But I do spend a lot of time thinking about World of Warships,
Your
and
main
we're working
logo is
on.
actually kind of has the what's the name, the helmet from Star Wars. Now I connected the dots.
Yeah, the Rogue Squadron helmet.
Yeah.
Kind of funny you mention it, because one of the questions of our secret folder is like, what are you streaming, playing, if it's not World of Warships?
Yeah, so SCADA just got. So we should talk a little bit about SCADA first, and then we
Please
should jump
do.
into that. Just real quick. So I've got kind of a sidekick, a friend, SCADA, who
Can we visual this for so Clyde is the blue emote, the round one wholesome, SCADA is the red square,
We're getting
Do we have
I've got a little package of ClydePlays stickers.
Show
right
it.
Oh,
here.
there we go. So we can see SCADA.
Here's
Look,
SCADA.
SCADA is.
That's just a complete opposite.
Perfect.
Oh, I love that it's next to each other now.
Yeah.
He's the angry one. I've got. Yeah, I have Clyde. These are my ClydePlays stickers now, but I got to figure out how to.
I want to do the same. I want to make stickers of my emotes. I think that's like, I see a lot of like I see a lot of people like streamers make merch and stuff, and I think they're all forgetting the one thing that your community loves the most: your emotes on stickers. Seriously.
Yeah, it's
I'm
easy to do.
just as guilty, but everyone goes for shirts and caps and whatnot, and I'm like, half of these designs I don't want to walk around with. I'm sorry, but I would love to have your emotes on a sticker.
Yeah.
And just plaster those all over.
Exactly. So those are, and it's kind of cool to get those done. We were talking about my spring store, which you can check out at ClydePlays.com. But I mean, the stickers on there are overpriced. These ones I got from Sticker Mule. So if you guys are looking to get them shipped to yourself, Sticker Mule is a great website. It's pretty cheap. So maybe you've already done your own research on this stuff. The thing that sucks about that is there's no good way to distribute them.
Yeah,
right? Like I have to
especially worldwide
or something, and worldwide makes that even harder. And World of Warships is such an international game, but
exactly.
Anyway,
by the way, all the links are
guy
under the video. I'm sure.
Oh,
I want to know.
Focus. So anyway, he's the one who said, "Hey, you should turn that daring video into or daring game into a video," right? He pitched that idea to me, and it was the middle of the pandemic. I didn't have anything else to do. I was like, okay. So I made that video, and then I sent him the link after I uploaded it to YouTube. I sent this link to him, and without even watching it, he went into the World of Warships official Discord and said, "Hey guys, my buddy made this video. You should watch it," and just pasted it in there. And I was like, "What are you doing? People can see it," right? Like that was my fear at the time. And then he said, "I knew it was going to be good," and then he watched it, which I thought was really nice of him to say. But and then so he's kind of been around since the very beginning. And when we first started the stream, it'd be like him and me and a couple of our other friends that we know from real life. And that's how we got above 3 viewers or whatever. That's how you get that, your initial.
Yep.
You know, you got to get started, and then people start wandering in and everything, and then YouTube helped out. But so he's been around for a long time, and he helps a lot with the long form kind of podcast style content that we do, which is really beneficial. And I'm realizing now that I don't remember why I brought him up, because it was going to help me get to the answer to a question.
Yeah, we were
Other games that you play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
other games. Play
Yes,
or
that's right.
stream or yeah.
So recently he picked up Baldur's Gate 3. And
Yes.
he's been trying to get me to play Baldur's Gate 3. So I think
Yes.
we're gonna do that, the two of us. This weekend I'm doing this, and I'm editing a YouTube video, but I need to like log into the game and like play around with it and get to where I understand what it is, make a scene for it. Once I've got that done, I'll be able to start that, and we'll probably do that on our Tuesday nights, which will be pretty good.
Well, you have one viewer. It's me.
Yes.
Yes.
I
love Baldur's Gate.
I am
Are you
so
playing the new one?
confused.
I'm playing the new one. Yes.
Awesome.
So I played Baldur's Gate before, and I mean I just don't think I have the time to play it again, because Baldur's Gate games are such a time investment, very very epic. This is not to talk anything against this game at all.
Nope.
Well, I mean, you watch a trailer and you're sold. That's it. Like it's so high quality. Everything's good about this game.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't understand is how the fuck is this game a streaming game? Like and they even added like streaming extensions on Twitch. So and drops and everything. How the hell is this a streaming game? Like if I was playing Baldur's Gate, and by the way, not against you guys, everyone that I'm following has been playing Baldur's Gate on Twitch except for me.
But it's
or is
great.
about to.
And if you are going to roll terribly, people eat that up. They want to see you fail. You'd been there when I was playing, Cheg. You see how people want me to just do terrible and fuck up my game.
Yeah, maybe I would.
But Cheg, I know what you're talking about, right? Because there's like a continuity there, and there's a low level of action there that feels weird for those of us coming from more action-oriented games. Story and like even when I was playing Star Wars, like that game is not as grand or epic. It's still a big AAA title.
Which Star Wars was it? Sorry.
That was Jedi Fallen Order.
Okay, so the story-driven one, kind of, yeah.
Story-driven, third-person adventure game with Cal. Yeah. Cal, the young Jedi junker guy. Yeah. So like, you know, that idea was weird. And then like when you're done with it, you raid somebody who's at some random point in the story, and how do you not get that spoiled? And like there's all kinds of dangers with this kind of game, right?
To me, man.
And it's strange to me too, coming from like my more action, like every game in World of Warships is 15 minutes long, and you can quit after any one of them. You can quit in the middle if you get angry enough, and then you can raid off to somebody else and there's no problem, right? But so like it's a totally different culture, but that is, I think, a huge part of Twitch, and it's a part of Twitch I don't really interact with or understand as well. So this will be kind of a fun thing to experiment with, I think. And AC sounds like you're already all up in it, rolling.
Yeah, I'm all up for it, and also
it's
my home, because like I'm not a Warships creator. I did play Elder Scrolls Online and I play MMOs, but my main content at the moment is playing very story-driven games.
I mean,
and people love watching me completely be in tears at the story, or rage at the boss, or just be angry at what's going on. Like that's what, like they're still there to chat with me and talk with me, and there's still interaction, but they're also there just to watch me react to this game that they have played through and that they love. And that's what I noticed with Baldur's Gate. You play the story, you have a reaction to it, and you want to see if other people have the same reaction or if they have a different reaction. They want to connect. So it's I get very different from what you two do.
No.
But it is a very big part of Twitch, yeah.
But I play one-shot adventures, kind of, or maybe like 2 streams, like Figment or something like that. And I will break on the stream and cry. And this, like for my core audience, these are the gem streams, right? But the problem with Baldur's Gate, you can play it for like 300 hours there. So that's what I don't understand. I understand playing a single player game.
I don't think it's a game that you play all the way to the end. I think this is just one of those games that has happened in the past before with a couple of other games where you just like, you roll into it, you play it, and then you move on to the next shiny thing, which is
Oh my
probably going
god,
to
this
be
would
something like
my
Starfield or
brain would
something.
explode. Like, I listen, when I start streaming Starfield, which inevitably will happen because I got it from one of my viewers, I am finishing that game on stream. Like, there's
I
no
feel like
way
I would
I'm-
have to finish
like, there's
it too.
no
I don't know.
way.
That's
We'll
going
see.
to be a fun topic for the podcast in a couple of months. I'm
Yeah.
going to come back at you at this and I'll be like, what happened to Starfield?
No, I mean, it's gonna take forever because I'm only gonna stream it like one or two times a week, right? Because I
Yeah.
can't. You gotta, in the end, you gotta stream your game. but I can't start.
Yeah.
This is why I don't understand Baldur's Gate. Like, I 100% understand story-driven, one-shot games, or maybe, like, you play for a week, you're done. That's where you play Tomb Raider, you play, I don't know, like, whatever.
Or you
But
play me
Baldur's Gate?
Persona for like, what is it, 4 months now that I'm playing this?
That's by the way,
Cheg, have you ever
Go
have
for
you
it,
ever
Clyde.
played Dungeons and Dragons though?
No, 100%. I played Baldur's Gate games as well.
No, I mean like at a
No,
table
but
with
actual tabletop D&D.
Yes, some, in
campaign.
some
Yeah.
form or
I
the
just-
other. I RP'd as well and whatnot. I played Magic as well on the table, and yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know if you'd ever played like a long form
Ooh, we
like
had
tabletop
we had,
version
like,
of like a year-long campaign.
I
or
had
whatever.
2 years long RP like adventure.
Mhm.
Like, we would gather twice a week for 2 years.
Whoa,
we
twice a
had
week?
like really good DM.
That's intense.
We
That's
actually
really
paid,
impressive.
and it was a big group. It was like 7-8 people. I don't remember, until
Oh,
one
wow.
Oh
of
my
them
gosh.
fell off the tower. He was a werewolf and accidentally like broke the tower and fell out. And then he joined a couple more sessions and it was like, okay, I can't just watch. Bye, guys. Like, so I do like when, like, I mean, I like this, but the streaming part of it is what completely confuses me with Baldur's Gate. But I mean, hey, it's working. Who am I to say anything?
Some things you just don't question. Just
Yeah.
it's-
Yeah, it just is what
some
it
things
is,
you
I
can
think,
pick
right?
apart, like how to go to Commander, and some things you just gotta take it as it is. Like
It's
playing
true,
Baldur's
it's
Gate on
true.
Twitch.
By the way, she was not completely honest with us, Clyde, because she's.
What do you mean?
Well, her main you see, Esu forgets that she lives in Final Fantasy world, actually. So she plays 2 MMOs at the same time and these games on her stream. So that, just pointing it out.
I
she's
just
not
live in a
really-
fantasy
Yeah.
in my silly weeby games.
Because you
Leave me
stream,
be.
I think your
Leave me
main game would have to be Final Fantasy 14, right? And
Focus,
now
yeah,
it's and now you're playing
Mm.
Final Fantasy 11, which is like 700 years old MMO.
Yes, it's really, really rough, but it's really, really fun to see that there is still a community behind it that comes in. Like, I'm surprised every week by new people coming in that just picked up this game or want the nostalgic blast
Yeah.
or play it for the first time.
They also show up. They chase you around.
Yeah,
You're like Asmongold of Final Fantasy 11 now. Like,
that's
they actually chase you around and like dance with you, little lalas and all that. I've seen it. I've seen it.
Well, and Final Fantasy is one of those products that like people go back to over and over and over again,
Yeah.
right? Like the last time I actually played a Final Fantasy game was what we in the US called Final Fantasy 3, but I think in Japan it was Final Fantasy 6, right?
yeah.
So-
There was something about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we renumbered everything. I don't know. I call it Final Fantasy 3 because it's how I understand the world. Okay, I'm sorry for my American centricness, but that game was old Super Nintendo, 2D, and I love that game. I would play that game today, right? And I think there are people who go, man, I like that game. I wonder what the next one's like. I actually missed Final Fantasy 7, which was huge on PlayStation, right? But all of my friends played the heck out of that game, and they would go back and play that game again. They would go back and play the remaster. So I think there are people who do that, or they have that nostalgia that you guys are talking about, and then they go,
100%.
well, what's 8, what's 9, what's 10, what's 11? I'm not as up on that world. I can't speak to all of the titles and which ones are the best or whatever.
Do you have a world
think it makes
that
sense
you got
that
lost
people
in
go
like
back.
that? Because I grew up as a Blizzard child. So I played like Warcraft, StarCraft, Warcraft 3, well, even Warcraft 1 and 2, and then World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
And, I'm still playing Classic, but I'm locked into this world. Like, this is the world, this is my parallel world. And Asus is obviously Final Fantasy,
yeah.
right? Do you have something like that growing up or not?
For video games, less so. I mean, so I played a lot of console games for back in 8-bit times with, I think we called it the Sega Master System, and I think it's called the Sega Mega Drive
I have Sega Mega Drive
internationally.
too, actually.
Yeah,
Still, I have
I
Mortal
had
Kombat
them.
3 on it.
Yeah. I think it was Mega Drive, but yeah. So I played that one, and then we had the Genesis, which has
Yeah.
another name. Maybe Genesis is Mega Drive. Anyway, so we, I played a lot of old console games, and then around the time like GameCube came out, I sort of quit playing video games. Not intentionally, not on
Ooh,
purpose. I just was doing other things. So I missed like a couple of consoles in there, and then came back for PC gaming when I was sort of like getting into college. And so I did a lot of first person shooters and Battlefield
okay,
and
yeah.
things like that. But when I was doing PC games a little bit in junior high, it was like Diablo and Warcraft
Okay.
2, some of those, and then kind of came back and stayed with shooters pretty much forever, and then switched to World of Warships, and now I'm kind of doing some of these narrative games again, which I never really liked. My wife is a huge narrative game fan. The Last of Us is her favorite game, and she has watched 100 different streamers play that game for exactly the
Mm-hmm.
reasons Asu was talking earlier,
Yeah,
which
the
is
emotions, yeah.
I want to watch them experience me experiencing the thing that I
Yes.
experienced.
Mm.
We want
Yes.
that
I want
shared
to see them
human
cry like
thing.
I cried. Yes.
I want to see their face when they get
Mm.
destroyed, right? And she loves that, and she's played that game, I don't know, like 100 times. Like, and that's not like an exaggeration. She's probably played through The Last of Us 100 times, because that is her world that she gets stuck in. For me, if I was to pick one of those, it's probably actually tabletop Dungeons and Dragons. Is probably
Okay,
where
that's fair. That's a
I
world you can get
actually get
lost in.
stuck in the most.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it has deep
And
lore
for
and
me,
everything,
from
so
the
it's fine.
Dungeon Master screen side, right? So it's like my
Oh.
own creation, because
Oh,
that's
Oh, you
nice.
are a
sort of
DM.
my
Okay,
A
thing.
okay.
DM.
I could
Mm.
never do
I
that.
prefer to be. I prefer to be.
I totally would never do that. Like
No, why not? Why not?
no, because so many like like your entire party's experience depends on you, and that's too much pressure. So I have high respect for anyone who even dares trying becoming a DM.
I relate to that.
Mm.
Like, you definitely have the people that are very good at creating a world and creating a setting, a scene, and how the story sets up and flows and guide people through it. And then there's just the people like me who are just like, I'm ready to explore this world that's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
created.
Because if you think about it, like it like you can make it or break it in split second for someone who already invested like a couple of hours or days of being part of this, making a character or whatever. And if it's up to you for this person at the end to say, oh my god, this was such a good adventure, or man, I feel like I wasted my time, and
Yeah.
and that's just the
And you
pressure
get
I
to have
can't
both
live
of those
with.
experiences.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
People get to say, this sucked. And you get to be like, seriously, what? How did it suck? I worked so hard on it. And you get to have people say, that was the coolest thing, man. When can we play again? Right. And
Yeah.
yeah, you get to
Which
do
you
both.
probably also have with your YouTube videos.
Oh, yeah. People like them and people don't like them. I've been lucky so far that I haven't had a lot of people come in and just really troll me. I've had people try to start. I had a guy come in and he told me, I can't remember what he said. He said something pretty spicy. He was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, man. This is a terrible take. You suck," or whatever. He didn't say you suck. But he's like, "This is ridiculous," and blah 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 blah. And I was just like, you know what, man? I'm sorry you feel that way. I actually responded. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna say something. I said, you know what, man? I'm sorry you feel that way. I blah 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 perspectives and stuff like that. Blah, blah, blah. And then like a couple of days later, he came back and replied and said, "You know what, man? I'm watching one of your old videos, and I just remembered why I love this channel so much. I'm sorry I was being a dick earlier." And I was like, "What? Someone apologized on the internet?"
But this is like
I
Look-
could not believe that we actually came to a place of understanding. Sorry, go ahead.
this is like recently I did a video with another NACC, Mr. Foaming Jetty, who's an amazing guy, and I watch all your videos. I mean, I watch a lot of videos on YouTube.
I believe
Sure.
that.
But
Yeah.
I told you I was, because I know so much of the.
Yes.
I'm under a lot of NDAs, but I know a lot of how things work behind, under the hood of World of Warships, and you guys were off in several things. or like asking for
Perfectly
impossible
accurate,
and whatnot.
100% correct. Yep.
And I was yelling. I was literally yelling in the street, like, no, like stuff like that. And it got me like really animated and whatnot. And then, but then in the end, I love the video, and there's a lot, like, to be fair, as humans, we remember things that trigger us more than things that we just like enjoy because we take that for granted. And when I look back, it's like it's a great video. Like, I did not agree with a couple of things you were saying, or I knew that some things are a little bit different and whatnot. But this is the thing, like, this is the beauty of it. We can disagree, but I love your content. It doesn't really matter. For as long as someone is not like bluntly, I don't know, like, how especially World of Warships content can be. But like difference in opinions or different, things to look forward to and stuff like that, it's actually awesome. And I think we are getting there. Like, at least I have more and more people in my streams who will actively fight me on my takes and stay. Like, and then we'll talk about it later, and I'll tell them, thank you, for challenging my take, disagreeing. I apologize for maybe raising my voice and whatnot because I get very excited about it. And thank you for, like, taking that against me. And I get a lot of responses where they're like, no, but this is what I like. We can talk about something and, we can clash horns kind of in a way and stay friends. And I'm really welcoming this because I didn't have this experience before. And I never in my wildest dreams thought that this will happen in World of Warships category because it's a PvP game. But it's happening, and you have some similar experiences on your channel, which is it's just great to see. I love that. I hope we can have more of that.
It's a PvP game with PvP comments as well. Like
exactly.
No, it's really cool when you can get folks to the place where we're having a discussion and discourse, right? And one really nice thing about having that discussion with Jetty the other day was it started because he came in on commented on one of my YouTube videos. I disagree with this, and I said, "Great, let's talk about it." Nice. Right? And so we got together, we had that conversation. In a perfect world where you, me, and everybody who's interested in that problem could work on it to solve it together. You guys could give us the facts that and me and Jetty, if in a world, if that were possible, which it is not, and I'm not asking you to share anything today, because obviously NDAs are real, but like in that world, that me and Jetty would be like, oh, cool, new information. Let's figure out how to think about this and use it well, right? Both of us being engineers of a software sort, right? Like we'd be very interested in thinking about the problem, right? I do not claim that we know what we're talking about, but we'd be interested in helping solve the problem.
It all makes sense.
And like we said in the video, like Wargaming doesn't have to ask my permission when they adjust their software. That's fine. They shouldn't ask me what I think or what I would do because they're the lords and masters of that thing. And I'm sure they're making decisions for the right reasons. However, we have some thoughts about that, and we wanted to talk about it, right? And start discussions, not arguments, right? And so that's the thing we're trying to promote a little bit anyway. I don't know. I don't know how successful we'll be on the global scale, but
I used to be the grumpiest one. Sorry, I'll be quick. I used to be the grumpy one, especially like I play Star Citizen. I'm always right. They're always wrong. And then these year and a half of working on the other side changed my mindset completely. Now I understand so many things, and I'm like so much more chill about it. Sorry, yes, we go for it.
No, you actually make a segue about something that I've been wanting to ask, especially because you were talking about, we have the guys coming in with the hot takes, they don't agree with it, and we're having a discussion about it. Do you feel something has changed when you went from just your passion projects for yourself to now passion projects being on the content creator program for World of Warships?
A little bit, yeah. Some things kind of had to change, and like it was funny because I made a YouTube video where I made like a little short video about how like I applied for the program or whatever, and then I put it up on YouTube and just to like announce like, hey guys, I applied to be a C. So Cheg talked about Bogsy. and how he reached out to Bogsy on his first day at work. You know, bright bushy-tailed Cheg, I assume wearing a bow tie. He's like, I'm gonna go change the world, right? And he sent Bogsy a message and said, you should get this Clyde guy in there. First of all, Cheg, thank you. That was very cool of you to promote me that way before you even knew me. And then obviously Boggs was like, we got our eye on him or whatever. And back at that time, what I really wanted, and I'm sure that a lot of content creators want this, and looking back, it was probably silly of me to want this, but I wanted Wargaming to come to me and go, hey man, we think you'd be good for our program, right? And nobody ever came and talked to me about it.
No, you want your recognition and validation, yeah.
I did that to a couple of creators, by the way.
Those guys should do that when they see somebody that they want in the program.
Like,
right? And I think they do.
Our last guest, Grumbles, I approached him. I was like, "Hey, man, I think you would be good." Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think, and I think that's something that I really wanted to have happen. And nobody ever came and asked me to be a part of the program, and that was fine.
EU program is better. There you go. I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah. And I think that the NA guys go out and approach people too, and they have different criteria, right? I decided a long time ago, like I'm some fancy man, but like I was just like, look, this is the kind of content I'm going to make, and if people like it, that's good, and if people don't, either A, I'll get bored of making it, or B, I'll just keep making it, right? It'll be I'll figure that out. That's up to me. But I was watching the NA official stream, and I was chatting in chat with people like I do, and a sconce was like, "Oh yeah, there's ClydePlays live, one of our North American CCs," and then Bogsy cut him off. Like as he goes, "North American CCs," Bogsy goes, "Nope," and then a sconce is like, "What? Isn't Clyde one of our North American CCs?" And Bogsy goes, "Nope, he is not in the program." Like, and I was like, weird.
No,
like,
you should be there.
And I was like, is Bogsy offended that I haven't applied for the program? Like, I was like, what's going on? And then Escons goes, Clyde, why don't you apply to be in the CC program?
Yeah.
And I said, okay, maybe I will. I just said something like that in chat. And then like the next weekend.
Though. You did apply, but for those who don't know, this is a very tricky crossroad for World of Warships creator, because you get a lot out of it. You get giveaways. That's the first thing. Like you get giveaways, and you get the chance to as you said, you make content ahead of time. You also have a chance to talk exclusivity. You have some exclusivity. Hello, Khaleesi. And
we have the show stealer.
And then on top of that, you also have a chance to poke community managers whenever you want to, or even talk to some of the devs in the CC Discord. But at the same time, from the community perspective, depending on how your community is, you're selling your soul to wargaming, medieval wargaming. And for a lot of people, this is a scary step. Like it's like risk to even get there. So yeah.
It was scary, right? It was scary. Like when you, they give you some stuff to read that explains the program. I can't talk about what's in there because that's under NDA, but they give you some stuff to read, and they go, here's the deal, right? And then I had a lot of questions, right? And
good.
Cheg
I love that. Yeah.
Cheg talked about giveaways. I actually didn't want giveaways. I actually asked Bogsy if I could not have them. He's like,
you don't have to do them. I'll send you the codes. Probably. Yeah.
He said, I mean, you don't have to do giveaways, but he's like, but then you'd be the one weird guy who doesn't have giveaways. Why would you do that? And I was like, I don't know. And it was because like at that point
this is why I don't want to
my content program. Yeah, like I mean, I actually don't mind doing giveaways now. I had to change my thinking on that a little bit, and I'll tell you how I did that. But like, I didn't want to do giveaways because it always annoyed me when I was on somebody's channel and it was like a freaking sweepstakes every 30 seconds. And it felt like it was disrupting the content because, again, remember, I like YouTube better than Twitch. And so like you're disrupting the content to do like a cash register transaction thing that felt weird to me. And so I was talking to him about that, and I had a bunch of other questions for him and stuff about various aspects of things that we can't talk about here. But and then at the end, I was like, okay, fine, I'll join your little program or whatever. But it was scary, right, to do it because you don't really know what it's going to be like. My community, I had somebody in my chat one time tell me like streamers attract the kind of people that they are or that they project, right? 100%. And I think that's probably true. And so. my community is a bunch of relatively
Your community is very
well,
chill and welcoming.
they're pretty chill. They're pretty welcoming. They're okay with a disagreement here and there, that kind of a thing. And so I didn't have a lot of people who were like, really like whatever, man. But I did have a couple of people who were like my very next video, like they were just I could tell you're a CC, man. You've changed. Yeah, get out of here. And I was like, I have not changed. Like, I'm sorry, dude. On the giveaways thing though, I did kind of have to pivot a little bit. And what I decided for myself was if I can figure out how to do giveaways efficiently and fast, and I don't give them away to people, then I'm keeping the community from having all that free stuff, right?
True. For me, it was always a problem of, and you maybe remember as well. Like I used to have crazy giveaways for Elder Scrolls Online because their program is even more generous than World of Warships. For me, the problem is bringing people to your channel that have nothing to do with your channel just for a chance to get the giveaway. So what I started doing is I would never promote any giveaways because it bloats my numbers, and then I get, I go red after that and whatnot. I hate that. I want my numbers to be true. So, but at the same time, I agree with you. I wanted to give something to my own community for sure. So I ended up doing giveaways without ever like announcing them or anything. I would just randomly just be like, okay, there's a torch bug, which is like super rare or used to be mini pet or whatever. But I don't like when my channel gets like bloated or anything. I actually had raids locked out like for like 2 years of my streaming. I didn't want people to raid me at all, which pissed off some of my friends online.
Raids,
like, what the hell is wrong with your channel? I can't trade you. I've been trying for like 10 minutes. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I had the same concerns about giveaways, right? Like, I didn't want people there who didn't want to be there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I want my channel to be high density people who love this place. And I want them to want that place and to want to be a part of it. So one of the things I figured out how to do, and I should probably do this more often, is I have a giveaway bot on my Discord where I give away a few of my codes. I give away only on Discord, and that means that you're getting prize pigs in on your Discord as well, right?
Yep.
And so prize pigs is maybe a derogatory term, I don't know, but just people who are pursuing prizes, right? They'll join the Discord and stuff. But if they just join the Discord, then they're probably pretty quiet or whatever, and they're chill and stuff. And I don't give away stuff there very consistently. It's always very sporadic, and I do that on purpose so that it isn't like every Thursday a bunch of jokers join my server and do, you know what I mean? Like,
no,
it's
people
not
do that.
how I
People
want it to work. Yeah, and so like I've tried to shift over to give some things away there, but I've found a way to kind of do the giveaways that doesn't totally suck, which is good. And then when we do like special events, like when we did the Golden Barnacles, right? I did big giveaways, and I did them very quickly and very short, so that they wouldn't disrupt that program. But I wanted there to be some like big motivation, some exciting thing to be there, and like those were 10,000 doubloon giveaways, I think, which is like 40 US dollars. Which was kind of, and I did 3 or 4 of those just to be like, here you go, and throw those out there, which is kind of cool. And I had some people be like, oh, you should have done 2,000 dub giveaways way more often. And I was like, no, like that's the wrong idea. And I was like, not only don't tell me how to do my thing, but also you don't understand why I did them big. I did them big so I would do it 3 times and it wouldn't be a disruption.
No,
because I don't want it to be a disruption. Right? I wanted it to be about that show, and it needed to be all that pomp and circumstance.
But also getting 10K is actually so meaningful compared to getting 2K, right?
Yeah,
you actually gave someone I don't know, like tier 8 ship effectively, or
Yeah, almost, right. Like really close to something that's worth something. It's really, that's a big win. That's kind of exciting. So, but anyway,
we are. I don't know how much past our time is because I need to edit a little bit. But before we leave, I have one question, and that's: do you enjoy streaming and YouTube content creation still?
Do I still enjoy it? Yes. Esu was talking about streaming, right? And the immediate interaction you have with your people, right? Which is something that's super special and super fun. And I had no idea how cool that was going to be when I first started streaming.
That's a good take. Yeah.
I don't think any of us had that.
Yeah, true.
ID.
you can't know what it's like. You just can't until you've done it, right? Until it's happened for you or whatever. And talking about single player games versus multiplayer games or whatever, story driven games, right? Those become multiplayer games when you have your community with you.
Right.
And I have a hard time playing a long form story game by myself because I get bored. But
I
if
can't
my
anymore.
people are there, it's like, oh, sweet, the community's here, and we're experiencing this together, kind of like AC was talking earlier, right? And we're having this moment as a group, and it becomes more social, and that makes Twitch streaming something that's really special. That is pretty good.
This is spot on. I can't play games on my own anymore, man. Like I it just doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah, I was talking about this with someone the other day. I can play games on my own, but there are certain games where I'm just spoiled by Twitch now, and I need my people to cheer me on. This is maybe more towards soul games, but there are other games as well where I'm like, I'm gonna rage quit and give up and uninstall this stuff if I'm on my own. But if I have people telling me that I can do it and cheer me on and hype me up, then maybe I'll actually get through it. And it is true that I've finished so many games that I don't think I would have finished on my own, honestly.
Yeah, that's probably almost certainly true. Like, especially something that's really long or whatever, right? If there's a boss battle in there that becomes a challenge or whatever.
Yes.
I will say, playing Warships, when it starts to go wrong, I start asking my chat the question, do they make other video games or is this the only one? Can I do something different? Like, this is terrible. I'm so mad right now. And I have switched games midstream. I'm sure we all have, but yeah, that's a whole nother thing. YouTube can sometimes feel like work. Like, I'm doing a video this weekend, and one of the things that happened as a result of the CC program is that NDA due date, right? So I've got a video that's due soon, TM, that I've got to finish on a timeline. Whereas before, all of my videos I could finish whenever I wanted. And I don't do like a weekly upload. To do the videos with as much attention as I give them, it's kind of hard for me to do one every week because I have a job and I have, Mrs. Clyde's around here and she probably wants me to spend time with her as well and all of that stuff. And so like that's hard to do every single week. But now I've got like a due date, right? So I've got a video I've got to do for this week and it has a date and I'm working on it. And so that can sometimes feel a little bit like work. But when I'm making videos like the skill-based matchmaking video or the research period video or something like that, where I'm diving in deep on a problem I think is interesting and I have my own timetable to work on that, I really, really enjoy decoding something complex and turning it into something that's consumable by others and hopefully entertaining for others as well. So huge love for that process still.
It's like long-term investment, I guess. Like if I have a video that actually does well, and you see people like a year later reacting to it and being like, hey man, this is not correct anymore. I'm like, hey, check the date. But still, it feels nice, it feels nice to get this feedback. Right? One great thing about YouTube, and I really want to pick your brain about this and your instruments and barnacles and so many things, but and SCADA, and maybe when this becomes a bit bigger, we can have you again to come back. Maybe it's SCADA. That would be amazing.
This has been a bunch of fun.
But the fact that Twitch is competition, love it or hate it, you and me, we stream the same place. If we stream at the same time, we're competition. I can be a fan of yours, but you affect my channel and I affect yours, right? YouTube, completely opposite. This is why I really want I would like to be a YouTube content creator for this reason. The more people do the same stuff on YouTube, the better, because the algorithm just keeps, serving the more there is. And I just feel like it's so much healthier environment for the content creator itself. So I don't know, any takes on that?
That's I hadn't really considered it that way, but that does make a lot of sense. I think when a topic, because YouTube claims that they want to serve videos up to their viewers that make them happy. That's what they describe as their goal, right? Literal happiness. Can you imagine being in a company that's in the happiness business, right? Because that's what they're in. Right?
Totally not ad revenue business, but okay.
Well,
that's just a benefit.
Yeah.
sometimes people got to sell bottles of Windex or something. I don't know, but like, but they, from a content creator's perspective, though, YouTube says we're trying to make people happy. And then they have ways that they say measure happiness, and we don't get to know what those are. It's all fancy stuff, right? But when a topic gets big, they're serving it up to people, and that's really helpful. When somebody makes a video on a given topic, like Wargaming recently had a big controversy about super containers and how they changed the contents in those for patch 12.4 for you nerds who are Wargaming people or World of Warships people. And then obviously we're seeing the anniversary event coming up, so that's becoming a topic of discussion again.
Big time.
And I had a ClydePlays news video that was, live recorded, totally chill. I love that there's a cat on our podcast now. That's amazing.
Khaleesi's like, it's been long enough. I need you, Mom.
Orange cat.
Yeah, she is the one that comes to tell, like, it's cute time. Knock it off.
Yeah, she's her clock
Not
is
to
like
disrupt
right
you,
on.
please continue your story,
No.
but she's a cue.
But when that all went down, there was a dev blog article. I did the dev blog article for ClydePlays News, posted the video, and it had 5,000 views in less than a day. Right?
Yeah,
Just blew up. Right?
Yeah.
On Clyde scale, that blew up.
Makes sense.
And it was just huge because it was a big topic and lots of people made videos about it. And then people were like, hey, this is weird. And I saw other people making videos about, aspects of it. And I was like, there's another way to think about this. I made another short video about it. And then I made a longer video about it where I did a big analysis or whatever, which certain people liked and other people probably didn't really care for. But it was, that topic, there was like a wave of opportunity to make stuff on that topic, and it is very timing sensitive. So I think there's still some competition there in terms of
this case
putting out.
But like evergreen topic, like if you make a commander video of an hour and then I make one as well, when Esu is done watching your video and she gets served another video with the same, like these are like long term, like not because of the certain date, then it's very friendly. I think. Because they
I think
feed
so
off
too.
each other.
Yeah.
But time stuff, I agree. Yeah, I didn't even think about this. See how the brains are different because our thing is Twitch and your thing is YouTube, and we all three of us like dabble around, right? But
A little bit.
the brains work so differently because they're used to your own thing. It's crazy.
But that evergreen topic that you mentioned is super valuable too. And in a microcosm of an event like the super container change, you're still getting that like suggested videos before and after and everything. So Mountbatten certainly had probably 3 or 4 videos on that topic because he makes a video like every day, right? Very prolific content creator. And when people are done watching his videos, my stuff might get served up. Or when people are done watching my videos, certainly his stuff gets served up because he's got so much video. So when a topic flourishes, a rising tide raises all boats kind of a thing.
Exactly.
But in evergreen content, it's the same concept. It's just larger and slower. But there is a lot of value in that. But being on at the same time, that's not a concern on YouTube at all. Right? Yeah, exactly. It just isn't a problem because what your content has to be is better than the other person's, or it has to make people happier. Because that's what YouTube is selling them, right? Is trying to make them happy or different or have an opposing viewpoint. I don't know. It's interesting. I think there's competition on both sides, but there's also a lot of, fostering of other channels and stuff too. And, we have raids and stuff on Twitch, which there's no such thing as a raid on YouTube. That was a concept I didn't understand. And I know you apparently had yours switched off for a time, but the ability to raid one another is a really good way to show support across Twitch performers. And it's good that we have that. I wish we had more tools like that to build up our friendly streamers, our friends in the same categories and everything.
Yep, I agree.
And
I'll talk forever if you let me. Don't let me do it. And across categories.
No, yeah, because that's one of the things that I really love about this podcast. Because once again, I didn't know you before this, and I've said this before in the past. We had a couple of guests. I promise for everyone who's watching this, I'm gonna bring a guest to make sure that this doesn't become a World of Warships channel where I'm just sitting there nothing.
When Grumbles was here, he was not World of Warships CC, so we talked about a bunch of games.
That's true.
And then Mechatech was talking about beer and...
I'm going to bring guests as well.
Yeah,
and I'm also, because I know you're going to invite other people from World of War, and that's completely fine. I'm very much looking forward to this, because I would have never found you because I'm not a World of Warships viewer.
Yeah.
This is the
But
best.
I now
can't
get
wait
to
for
know
your guests as
you, and
well.
I get to
It's
pick the
so-
brain with you and learn about your content and your thought process behind it through a whole different form of communication. I love it.
I had this weird idea that I haven't made happen yet, and maybe you guys are making it happen for me, which I appreciate. Which was to have like a little corner of my Discord where I had like a couple of channels that were just for streamers to talk about things like how can I be better at this? And it isn't like how do I get this audio source routed in OBS, but it's how do you make content well?
Just
You know what I
brainstorming
mean?
content ideas, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, and talking about like I tried this and it worked. I tried this and it didn't work, or the algorithm liked it. Not that I want to try to decode the algorithm because I think decoding the algorithm is dumb, but learning to make the best possible thing you can is not dumb. And so
Yeah.
it's to me the best possible thing is the angle that I made. So I kind of had this idea where I was like going to set something like that up, and
Do
I
it.
haven't really made it happen.
You gotta start.
But
You
maybe
gotta do it. It's
Yeah.
like if
maybe it's
anything
this
I've learned over the last few months, because I've been going through a lot of like events and where I met with a lot of other content creators,
yeah.
is that talking with fellow content
It's
creators
so good.
in whatever setting is so super valuable, because we all are in the same field, but we all have our own approach to going about it, and we can learn so much from each other.
Yeah, and it kicks you
Yeah.
out
And
of your
lift
own
each other
bubble as
up.
well.
Yes.
Well, and even like as he was going through and explaining, like this is how I make TikToks. I'm over here going,
Noted. Write down.
But
yeah,
this is
check it out.
literally what it is. When we were talking about the concept of this, was we want to hear other content creators, regardless of the size of of their platform, how they do things, because like a lot of us follow same patterns, but everyone has a little bit of spice there. So I want to hear about it. She wants to hear about it. Like, and then you get like, we'll give you our perspective of things as well. So yeah, this is literally what it is all about.
Yeah, that's why I say I think you guys are doing my homework for me. I'm gonna say one more thing and then I'm done.
Yeah,
Wait,
go
hang
for it,
on.
go
Can I
for it.
remember? Can I remember what it is?
Oh,
Maybe I'm not. Nope, it's gone. Never mind.
It's gone.
Podcast.
Then
no.
just
For
let
next
us know
episode.
what you were up to.
In
What
comments.
what can people expect in, let's say, the coming month or 2 months from you? Have you anything special, cool, whatever coming up? A YouTube video? You said it. At least
so
that.
we're gonna do a special live stream event. I don't have a date for it, but coming up soon on the channel, we're gonna do a discussion about all the dockyard ships. So if you're interested in that, you can catch it live on Twitch. My Twitch handle is twitch.tv/ClydePlays live. Cheg's got all the links. He's gonna put them somewhere where you can find them
everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, and then of course you can find me on YouTube. If you just search for ClydePlays and World of Warships, you'll find me there, which will be great. Obviously, it's a little early to start talking about this, but in March we did the Golden Barnacle Awards, which was a like a Oscars style,
yeah.
style awards show for World of Warships. We're looking to do that again. I've actually already started working on some aspects of that, and that'll be next March, right? So you got some time. You don't have to worry about that. But know that is coming, and we'll continue to do fun things there. But thanks, guys, for taking some time and sharing this with me. I had no idea about this podcast. I can't wait to
No one does.
send this.
We're still.
We just got freshly back.
Yeah. Because we just started.
Cool.
We did like 2 episodes basically with a guest, and I went to Wargaming and we had to stop, and we just restarted it basically. So it's fresh,
Nice.
new. We're like 20 subs or whatever, and now we're both reaching out and like trying to make it happen, which is super exciting as well too. You know how it is with the numbers and everything.
I love making stuff.
Exactly.
Making stuff is great.
Clyde, I'm a huge fan of your work. Thank you so much for joining us and on such a short notice. As you can see, this was not a backup plan. You just helped us, but we had loaded questions. We could talk with Clyde for like 3 more hours, I'm sure.
I believe that.
But
yes,
we
you've
wanna
gained
try
enough fan
and
here.
keep it,
I'm looking forward to your Baldur's Gate
Yes.
streams.
yeah. But I'm hoping if this ever like actually grows to some bigger numbers, then you guys could join us at the beginning. You help us grow because it's cross of different communities, right? But also hoping to return a favor in a way and have you and Skada together I promise, if not before, for you guys, I will make it a 4-man, four people overlay or
Four-man.
whatever. Yeah, 4-man.
Move these little cameras
Yeah,
around a bit.
exactly.
Yeah, we could do it. I'm sure he'd be interested to come and chat. He's
Yeah.
he's an interesting dude too, with a lot of
Scott is awesome.
interesting ideas and perspectives. He's been a huge part of my channel's development and growth. He's a great sounding board, good idea guy. So I think for the kind of conversation that you guys are having here and want to have here, he'd be really interesting for you guys to chat
Who
with.
knows? By that time, Scott might become a full-time content creator. You never know.
He might. He's done a stream recently. He did a stream recently.
I saw it. All right. Any ending words, Esu?
Keep going. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, Esu. Good to meet you.
Anything from
Likewise.
you, Clyde, before we let you go?
No, nothing really big. Just everybody out there, be cool, be nice to people. We need more of that. So thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciated being here.
Or send an apology if you have been an ass. Because
That's
clearly
right.
it exists in the world.
works.
It makes the difference.
And we have all been an ass at least once.
True.
You know.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, except for me, of course,
Self-included.
but
No, not Cheg. That guy.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I don't even know which episode of our podcast anymore. Hope you had some fun, and can't wait to see you in 2 weeks again with a new guest. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Later.